Inspired by the life of the savvy and ambitious Colombian businesswoman Griselda Blanco comes a new Netflix original limited series. Griselda tells the story of a devoted mother who, with her lethal blend of charm and relentless savagery, creates one of the most powerful cartels in history. Witness Sofia Vergara's captivating transformation into the godmother of the underworld. Griselda, streaming January 25th, only on Netflix.
Listen to the 48 Hours podcast for shocking murder cases and compelling real-life dramas from one of television's most watched true crime shows. Go behind the scenes of each episode with award-winning CBS News correspondents and producers in Postmortem, a weekly deep dive. Listen to 48 Hours wherever you get your podcasts.
This is a Rogue Media Network podcast.
Welcome back to another episode of No Waco. This is your host, Debbie. All right, and we're back with another episode of No Waco. I'm your host, Debbie, and today we have some very special guests here in the studio. Go ahead and introduce yourselves.
Yeah, absolutely. I want to go ahead and say thank you for saying we're incredible, because yes, we are.
Yay!
My name is Katie Selman, and I am on the board of Keep Waco Beautiful, and also one of the co-founders of an organization called Keep Waco Loud. And yeah, that's pretty much a good high-level summary.
Yay!
How's it going, everybody? My name is Linares. I am a restaurant lover, food lover, Waco lover, and just all around downtown or just Waco in general guy.
Yeah, also co-founder of Eastside Market.
That too, yes.
Shout
Eastside
out.
Market and a couple other organizations.
A lot of things. You guys both have so many hands in the community. It's amazing having you here today to talk about the exciting event that's coming up. Eric, you've been on the show before, but the first question I always ask our guests is, what brought you to Waco, or are you a Waco native? Tell me your Waco story.
Me, personally, I've been in Waco since 2012. So I showed up in Waco kind of like one of the normal ways is through Baylor. Mm-hmm. It was the funny thing about my kind of like arrival in Waco is that I had no idea where Baylor was. It was like
Surprise!
No, it was funny because I had no idea of a lot of things. Like Baylor was the first like college that accepted me, and I was just like, all right, I'm going there. They're the first ones. They texted me like within a couple like hours of applying and submitting the application. So I was like, all right, that's where I'm going. I didn't bother about it. I didn't research Baylor. I didn't even know Baylor.
Were you surprised?
I didn't know Baylor was a private school. I didn't know any. I mean, I did the basic research, but all the like cultural things I did not know about Baylor. But yeah, I arrived in Waco a week before classes started, and I've been here ever since. Man, it's been really cool to see, like, the different kind of eras of my Waco life has been like, college, then post college, getting a job here. And then post that job, that kind of like corporate job type life, wanting to be involved in like the actual community of Waco. Yeah. And this kind of like community side of Waco is what's really kept me here. And it's one of the things I love about the city.
I love that. And you?
Yeah, absolutely. First of all, I also want to say I just had this like crazy image of Baylor accidentally sending you the acceptance. Like they just like accidentally like slipped and hit like accept, and they were like, "Well, that was."
That makes a lot of sense.
I'm just kidding. No. I'm just kidding. Seriously, you probably definitely deserve that. Probably. No, but so I'm not originally from Waco, but I say I'm from Waco. So I grew up in Georgia, but my parents are from Waco. So my mom is from Marlin and my dad is from West, and they met when my mom was at Baylor. Aww. And so my dad has lived here since I was 7 years old. So I spent my summers here. The Richland Mall was my babysitter. And then when I got a little older, so was the theater. So it was like I spent all my summers and Christmases here. And then after living in New York for 5 years, my husband and I visited Waco pretty often to visit family and stuff. He's also from the area. And something about it just kind of felt like right, if that makes sense. I'd only lived in big cities up to that point for most of my adult life. So like Atlanta, Houston, New York, and then coming to Waco, it just felt like it had everything that we needed and we were looking for, but more in a concentrated, more community-based feel. Whereas like in somewhere like New York, being able to do something like a Waco Restaurant Week on a New York scale is something that is not possible for just the average, community member to get involved in. And it's going to be a lot more expensive, and there's a million things to do, and you're really a dime a dozen there. Probably a dime a I don't know what a dime a dozen would be anymore, but there's 8 million people in one little city. So it's definitely something where to make an impact there, it's not like it is here in Waco. Yeah. And I like to say that Waco feels like a startup in the sense where if you want to do it, you can do it. If you want to build it, if you want to make an event happen, if you have an idea, you have so many resources at your disposal to be able to do something like that. And that's something that we quickly, discovered while, when we decided to move here.
Yeah. One of the slogans I always say is be the Waco you want to see. Like, honestly, that's it. You just got to be the Waco you want to see.
I don't know if you want that Waco to be that. I'm just kidding. Just kidding.
But yeah, you guys have been in the community for so long and really have just, helped been the cornerstone of starting so many amazing events and activities and things going along. And your story really resonates with other entrepreneurs and artists and creatives who either come here for Baylor, leave, and then come back. And I always say that we're a melting pot of culture because people leave and then bring that culture back here, which is what we need. Mm-hmm. And it's amazing to see that, especially with Waco Restaurant Week that we're here to talk about. Our community has grown so much, and we have such a diverse selection of restaurants and cultures and communities here that have really been forged around food, as most things are, because I'm a foodie girl myself, so I know what it's like. But yeah, so that's amazing. And again, I always tell people, being a Wacoan is a title you claim. So once you've claimed it, you guys are in. You're in the club. So you're good. You guys have been here long enough. And again, it's more of a personal badge you want to wear. But yeah, so thank you guys for coming on again. So give me the rundown. What is Waco Restaurant Week? Tell me all about it. Who, what, when, where, and why.
I guess we could kind of start at the beginning, like when it first actually came about. So Waco Restaurant Week originally started, the first event was September 2019.
Wow.
Which feels like a million years ago, but also last week at the same time. And that was actually the first event me and Eric ever participated in together.
Wow.
We did the music over at Brotherwell, and he did the tacos and was like the food aspect of the kickoff event for Waco Restaurant Week in 2019. And it was a really cool experience to.
It was such a Carol Ferguson, who is the director, CEO of Keep Waco Beautiful right now. She created this event just from her own willpower.
Wow.
It seemed like.
Like she wasn't even part of an organization. She just did it.
Wow.
Shout out to her.
There wasn't an organization tied to it, and she just took it upon herself to really showcase and fight for the restaurants and the small businesses that were around at that time. And it was such a good event in all terms of impact, marketing, visual, connecting people and to those those food establishments. And I was just really in awe about the event. The event has always been focused on enticing people to go and support all of our amazing restaurants, all of our amazing bars and coffee shops, smoothie shops, paleterias, everything. It's a way of getting that hype of wanting to go check out all these places in 1 week so that we can grab as many Wacoans as we can to introduce them to all the new spaces that they have probably never walked into.
Yeah.
And so she did an amazing job that first year. And we because of the pandemic, of course, it was a tough couple years following that whole situation. But we're back. Waco Restaurant Weekend is back. It is now supporting Keep Waco Beautiful, which I think it's an amazing thing to be able to say that you have, the foods that we're loving also kicks back money so we can support the environment and support the beauty of Waco that we need, because a lot of that, you see a lot of the regrettably, a lot of the kind of trash you see in our Waco community is food-related things.
Yeah.
And so as a way to kind of combat that, as a way to ensure that we're doing our best to make that cycle better, I think it's a perfect narrative, I think.
I love that. And what is the mission behind Keep Waco Beautiful?
Yeah, so Keep Waco Beautiful really, I mean, if to sum it up, is to keep Waco beautiful.
Wow,
I mean,
easy.
I know that sounds really simple, but it's in all kinds, it's a very spectrum of things. One is creating a more sustainable community because of, there's so much trash that, like you were saying, and a lot of that comes from restaurants, glass, plastic, all of these things that can be recycled, and creating new things and not being just one-use things. Teaching people why styrofoam is not good for the environment and stuff. But not only that, but then it's also creating things like they have just did a new program where you're certifying businesses as being green. Yeah. So it's giving them a checklist and saying, these are the things that we're looking for in order to certify you being a green business. And then also there's like even these cute ashtrays around town. And that's a really weird thing to say, is a cute ashtray. But it's branded beautifully, and it's just ways of upgrading the downtown and Waco as a whole, because you're taking something like a trash can or an ashtray that's not normally a beautiful thing, and then making it something that is not only aesthetically pleasing, but then the cigarette butts then get recycled, and it's a long continuous thing that just goes and helps the city as a whole take its next step as a city.
I love that, and that's fantastic. And really, they also do like river cleanups and have so many
which are really
initiatives.
fun. There is a Dos Equis one that's coming up in October.
Ooh.
Volunteer. It is going to be super fun. I am the board member who always brings the vibes, so I bring like some yacht rock music, and we float the river. It's really, really fun, and that's something that Carol has brought to the team of Keep Waco Beautiful, which Keep Waco Beautiful has had a long list of, Ashley Millard was, one of the ones who first, she was the director for a long time, and now she's with the city. Yep. And then Carol stepped in. And it's just been an amazing organization that goes beyond just picking up trash, which I think is what Keep Waco Beautiful is trying to shy away from, is that idea that Keep Waco Beautiful cleans up trash. In fact, they get calls constantly. Ugh. Like, hey, somebody didn't pick up my okay, call the city. I'm sorry that happened to you, but it's bigger than that.
I love that, and it's so amazing that events like this can go back and give back into the community. And so what is the overall mission of Waco Restaurant Week? So I know you kind of talked about how it's supposed to be, connecting our community through food, and really just giving back to the community. So it's been going for a couple years now. What are you guys hoping to get out of this? What is the goal behind it?
It's like, opening up a restaurant, opening up a business in general now, that it's such a tough, hard thing to do. It's something that you need a lot of support, tons of support. They're giving their blood, sweat, and tears to like open up this space for people to enjoy food, to enjoy all kinds of stuff. But the only way it stays afloat is if the people support it. Yeah. If the people come out and find those places and actually frequent them. And so the goal for Restaurant Week is to increase the awareness for all of the restaurants in our area that are a part of the event. There's a lot of people in town that, you could probably name your favorite like 5 restaurants, and you go there religiously, like every week you go to the same restaurants every week, week after week. This is an opportunity to discover new hidden gems, discover new amazing places that are popping up, discover the long-standing like favorites that you just haven't been able to go into. It's a way of like breaking down those barriers to say like, these are all of the beautiful, amazing restaurants and bars and coffee shops that we have in Waco. Let's come out, let's support them, because they're doing so much to like give us that option to say, hey, I want to try something new. Hey, I want to go to this place. Hey, I want to hang out with my friends at this location. Waco Restaurant Week is aimed at supporting them in that way, to maximize the visibility, to maximize that drive, bring people out to that.
Yeah, and this year is back bigger than ever. There's, what you said, 43 restaurants involved?
So far, yes, 43 restaurants involved.
That is crazy. So tell me, how can people get their passes? How does it work? How can people get involved?
Yeah, so it's really not like a past situation. It's really just an awareness situation. And what is really great about Waco Restaurant Week, and what I encourage all of the restaurants that are getting involved to do, is to take this opportunity to showcase what you have to offer at your restaurant, and offer events, offer specials, offer tasting things where you can try 4 or 5 different things, for maybe a little bit lesser than if you're going to buy all 4. Because this is an opportunity to get your business in front of, a different crowd, because now it's not just downtown businesses, it's businesses all over Waco that are participating. But a lot of times, and I'm sure all of y'all are on the Waco Scoop, which is on Facebook. I
love them.
But there is nothing that, and I'm sorry if this is you or any of y'all or anybody
You're gonna call me
listening.
out, Katie.
I don't mean to. But nothing like just makes me want to like cry more than when somebody asks for like a restaurant recommendation in Waco Scoop and it's like Chili's or like
breaks my
Applebee's.
heart.
I'm just like, I don't even know if we have an Applebee's, but it's just funny that like it's like there's so much, like I can't even tell you the last time I went to a chain restaurant in Waco, because the local businesses are just they're, I don't even know what the word is, par one. It's a golf term. I don't know, but they just are so much better. It's local. You're putting money back directly into the community, and it's that opportunity to get other people and new people who will then tell their friends and etc. and get creative.
Yes, definitely. Well, thank you so much for sharing about this event. Give me the dates. Give me all the deets. Anything else that we need to shout out?
Yeah, so it's the last weekend of September, so coming up really fast. It is next weekend or this weekend or whenever this comes out. But yeah, it's the last weekend of September. So September, oh my gosh, my brain just like
28th through the 1st.
Thank you. I know it went into October, so but it's going to be a good time.
Yes, perfect. Well, thank you guys so much for sharing about the event. We're going to take a quick commercial break, and then we'll be right back.
Alrighty.
And now for a word from our sponsors. And now, back to the episode. All right, and we're back. So we're just talking about the exciting event happening next weekend that everyone's looking forward to get an opportunity to taste all of the offerings that Waco has. And now that we're back from commercial break, one of the first questions I love to ask is, what is something you would like to see more of in Waco?
End of road construction would be great.
35, yeah, that's what a lot of people say.
No, but seriously, just more, locals embracing local. So more, vibrant like areas. So like downtown, little pockets. There's some popping up in Hewitt and Woodway and things like that. And I love those little pockets of local businesses that kind of build that community feel, when you can walk from one thing to another, and kind of do that bar hop or restaurant hop type situation. I think that that's vital to have within a community, having little mini community personalities, if that makes sense, like little areas that you can go to and neighborhoods and stuff. I think that would be a great next step for Waco.
I love that.
Definitely. I think that, we talk a lot about downtown just because it's had the most like apparent revitalization.
Yeah.
But there's so many other communities in Waco that are just as diverse and just as historically, like culturally amazing and are, we need to showcase those a lot. And like she said, like we have another buddy, that Rambo, he's a really good friend of ours, but he loves that idea of like, you really invest yourself in the space you live in. And so like having community spaces in all these parts of town that have everything you need, that have that small grocery store, that have that's like mom and pop's diner, that has that watering hole. And like those things create those pockets of communities all over town. And it's when we have that kind of diversity and when people can be able to feel comfortable in every space of Waco that they're living in, that's when you start really seeing like a growth in the variety and in the feeling of wanting to be Waco,
I love that so much, and just echoing that sentiment. Like, it is just so important to showcase those communities and, again, just have things going on and being able to connect with those communities that not everybody goes to every day.
For sure.
Like, when you think about cultural hub of Waco, it's like, oh, it's just downtown, but it's not. There's so many other little communities out there that are just waiting for their opportunity to shine, and they're already shining in their own communities. You just got to touch that sunlight, and be able to have that there. With your organization and everything, what are some of your goals to have by the end of the year? What are you guys hoping to achieve? I know it's already end of September into October. We're on the downhill slide. But is there anything like maybe quantitative or qualitative that you guys are hoping for?
So I know with Keep Waco Beautiful, one thing that kind of ties into what we just said was they're doing this new thing where they're providing cleanup kits for neighborhood associations.
Wow.
And so I know my own, neighborhood that I live in. I live in Sanger Heights, and Sanger Heights has, I have 2 blocks away from my house, like Rufus Cocina, Jubilee Theater, and the Jubilee grocery store, and Thirst Coffee, and there's so many different things in that area. So I think it's great that Keep Waco Beautiful is investing not only in, cleanup and beautification, but investing in the neighborhood associations and kind of giving them the resources to then it's like you can teach you can teach a man a fish, or you can give him a fish, whatever that saying is. I'm really bad with sayings. But whatever that saying is, I think that's great that's the next kind of project that they're working on, other than the cleanups and Waco Restaurant Week. And they just got done with the Green Communities Conference, which was a huge success. And so, it's all up from here.
Yeah. And what is something you would like to do by the end of the year? What is one of your goals?
Oh, I think it's just to make it to the end of the year.
Make it to the end of the year. We can do that.
There's so many cool things that are in the works. We're right on the cusp of festival season. Literally, this
because the weather's finally cooled down enough for us to have festivals.
It's like we're back into that. We're back into the ability to do things outdoors.
Yeah.
From events and parties, markets. All these organizations are doing such an amazing lineup of things for this, going into the fall holiday season
of Texas, the fall.
Yeah, our second spring essentially.
Yeah.
So I'm just really excited to see all the events happening. Really excited to see, I want to see community out there. I want to see the Waco community out and supporting a lot of events. Because that's the whole goal. Yeah. I think I was talking with a friend of ours that was like, if you don't go out and support the arts, the music, the food, the stuff those are the things that give a city a soul, give a city a spirit, and without those, you're just living in a bland place. You know, come out and be a part of the cool stuff that's happening.
I love that. That's so amazing. And just speaking of community, is there anyone you guys would like to shout out? Anybody that's helped along the journey? Of course, everybody at Keep Waco Beautiful, all of the things.
Yeah, we'll definitely want to double shout out our fearless leader, Carol.
Shout out. Sorry you couldn't be here.
Well, that's because she's busy keeping Waco beautiful.
Yeah.
No, but without her, A, this wouldn't have even started, but B, it wouldn't be continuing. And, she's somebody who I admire and look up to and know that Waco is better because of Carol. And so definitely want to shout her out, and the entire board and everybody who has, volunteered their time to make this possible, and the restaurants who are taking a chance.
All 43 of you.
All 43. Well, we're definitely going to meet. We're going to hit 50. And I also want to take this moment to say you don't have to be a restaurant to do it. When one of the events that we did in 2019 was us partnering with a restaurant and Mike Hamilton.
Shout out, Mike.
We did a whole dinner over at Cultivate, and
we need to do it again.
Yes, it was a jazz. It's amazing. It was hilarious. It was all in between.
Oh my.
But you don't have to be a restaurant. You can get creative and ask a restaurant hey, let's do something. And if you have an idea, do it.
I love that. That's fantastic. Is there anybody you wanted to shout out?
I think echoing that, just shouting out all the restaurants and all the organizations that are a part of this event. It's they, like I said, they do so much. They go out there, they clean, they open, they serve, they make sure that you having a great experience. And so, it's just really cool to see, restaurants and places come together, and for the community to come together and really support them. I think, I really want to be a town where those concepts can thrive, where somebody can come in and create a very interesting, cool concept, be it whatever, bring in, foods that we don't have. I feel like we still have such an untapped market for the variety of foods, the variety of this artistic, cultural representation when it comes to our foods here in Waco, that I really want to see Waco support it. Yeah.
I love that. And I know you touched on it for a minute, but volunteers, how can people get involved? How can people get engaged?
Yeah, absolutely. So definitely go to the Keep Waco Beautiful .org website. They do a really great job of keeping that up to date with like all the different, activities and volunteer opportunities. And then also, obviously, their social media, Keep Waco Beautiful as well. And then if you are a business owner or a restaurant that wants to get involved, it is a $100 registration fee, which goes back to Keep Waco Beautiful. But that's one thing with the tax deductible.
It's a write-off.
It's a write-off. Where do we write it off, David?
Yeah, you write it off.
Anyway, sorry. But it's one of those things that's again why I'm so thankful for the restaurants who just I don't want to say they blindly like just trusted us to be like, all right, I'm going to give you $100, but asking a local business for $100 is not an easy thing. Every dollar counts, and they trusted us to say, you know what, I believe in this and I want to be a part of it, and so that's why we are forever grateful.
Oh, I love that. And last but not least, but why is it so important to have this here in our Waco community today?
Well, if you don't build it, they won't come. But it's one of those things where it's important to have local community involvement and do things like this because it spurs ideas and gets people thinking about what's next and what can I do. Yeah. I've seen a lot of people go to local events in Waco and think, I can do that. And yes, you can. And so it inspires a younger generation and inspires entrepreneurs. Mm-hmm. It gets ideas going. It gets the right people in the right rooms, networking and things like that. So it's just the next step. Yeah. And keep it local. And that's, it's local people doing local things for local people. It just gives back to local.
That's all you need. I love that.
Yeah. I mean, that's the truth is like, do you want Waco to be a great place, a great community for anybody that has a dream, for anybody that has something to show, something to bring to the table, to connect people with? Like we need those people, we need those organizations, we need these initiatives to create that fertile ground that we need for Waco to grow into the future, because we want Waco to grow sustainably. Mm-hmm. And also, very, very important, also giving back to all the communities and all the businesses that have been here from way back in the day. So it's like, how do we grow? How do we make sure that everyone's story is told, everyone's voice is being heard, and then at the same time allowing spaces for new voices and new stories to create an awesome, a symphony together, essentially.
I love that. And again, it just is so important here in our community. And I'm so glad that you guys were here today. Of course, give us all the social media, all the plugs. I know you already said the website. Say it again so everybody knows where to follow you, where to find you, find all the information. Give us all the things. Yeah,
absolutely. Again, Keep Waco Beautiful on all social medias, Facebook, Instagram, the website. Google Keep Waco Beautiful, you'll find them. Shout out Google and, all of that fun stuff. But yeah, follow them everywhere. They have newsletters. There's an opportunity to sign up for where they, will let you know when there's new volunteer opportunities. And I would love for there to be so many volunteers that you basically run out of spots and they've got to come up with more things to do. Yes. More Dos Equis river cleanups.
I'll take them.
All right. Well, thank you guys so much for coming on today. I appreciate your time being here. Is there anything else you would like to share with our listeners today?
Come out, get some good food, enjoy it, find some new spaces, and then just come on, keep on being Waco.
Yeah. Keep Waco Waco.
Keep Waco Beautiful.
Keep Waco Beautiful. It writes itself.
It writes itself.
Well, thank you guys again so much. I appreciate it.
Thank you so much.
Find us everywhere on all social media platforms, KNOW_Waco. Check us out at roguemedianetwork.com, and we're on YouTube under Rogue Media Network. Check out nowaco.com.
This has been a Rogue Media Network production.